I'm a martial artist. There's the artistry and there's the martial aspect of it. And in that, it's for life. It's not, I don't own it. I have to pass it on. I've got to make my students better than me. And my job now is to pass it on. I can't keep it. I don't own it. I can't keep all the knowledge I learned over the last 25 years and just have it all to myself and just fuck off and drink some beers and have some cigarettes and get fat. No, and like there's, now things have changed, whereas like I've gone from the highest highs walking out in front of like 20,000 people.
And Floyd Mayweather, and a lot of people gave him a chance. Right? That's how tough this.
And then I come back and I've got a bunch of kids that don't know how to put their hands up, and I struggled with that. I was like, fuck, how do I maybe I'm done. Maybe it's just like a fucking, like, here you are walking out to like craziness.
Well, few things in all professional sports as dramatic, as intense, as special as a Conor McGregor walk.
And then you're back here and you think, fuck, like, I can't, it's like a step back, but it's actually not. It's a step forward because these are the kids that need me. Because they want to be, my job is to make boys into men.
And I'm here like that. If I go for chin strap, you can strap my hands. You know, it's not. I don't want any of that. So I want this.
Have you ever thought about what makes a man, like what it takes to be a man?
Responsibilities.
Yeah.
Oh.
Honestly, it might be a subject, but...
Well, I think a lot of people have values, and I think depending on how you're brought up, depending on who your mentors were, who your idols were, who your influences were, will give a different meaning to it, to different people, to different races, to different countries, to different cultures. For me, it has changed a lot as I've matured, as I've continued to kind of grow rather than just grow up. I think that kind of grow up thing is a funny one, where you know you're a boy and you're a man. You're meant to figure it all out. But I think that the journey of life is figuring out that question, and the values that you have and how they change and how they fail and how you see them fail, or you just ignore it and you just continue on with the values you had from a kid and you live your life through those values, like get a wife, get some kids, get a semi-D and a silver car and listen to 98 FM, or you try and improve, or be honest with yourself, be honest with other people, and own your mistakes. And I think for a lot of people, being a man is some sort of pressure, you know, pressure to be a certain thing, pressure to be someone in charge, the head of a family. And I think for a lot of boys, when they're faced with all these kind of problems, which is, you know, what are you going to do, what you want to be, what you want to study, what are you going to work at, it's a lot of pressure for a lot of kids.
I was maybe 15, 14 years old, and I pretty much had my whole life planned ahead of me. And then we moved to Portugal, and then I realized that every single thing can fall apart in a matter of, you know, just one decision, and your whole, someone dies or whatever, someone important to you, and it's just completely gone. So never try and rely on that planning ahead kind of stuff. You know, I try and live in the moment way more because of that. Because I was 14 years old, you know, I was going to go to this college, I was going to get these grades, finish this at this time, and, you know, get, like the whole idea, I'm going to work this job, all gone.
Do you get emotional about stuff?
Ooh.
You don't get emotional about anything?
I get emotional, but I don't show it at all.
Why not?
It's just, I don't know. It doesn't help anyone, really.
But have you ever thought of the idea that if you keep it in, it's really not helping you?
But I express it in different ways, like here, or at the gym, or doing other things, or yeah, dissipate it by doing other things, just moving my mind.
Have you ever been taught emotional tools like breathing and?
Yeah, everyone does this thing. Breathe, do this, do that. It's just,
No.
I feel a bit silly when I do it. Emotions can be a bit unreliable as opposed to like logical thought and like acting on it while thinking, not being emotional. Like if you're angry, I remember when I was younger, I punched a hole through a door. I was angry, I was pissed, I was so angry, and I punched a hole through a door. I think it's just not helping anyone.
Give it a shot. You're caught with something that you can't do anything about. That's life. There's lots of shit you can't do anything about.
Emotions are the voice of the soul, and the heart is the home of the soul, the first functioning organ, the seat of intelligence, moral judgment. Heartbroken, not physically, but that intense pain in the seat of emotions where we feel the most shattered. And since breath departs at death, breath or soul indicates life. Just as smoke gives form and movement to the air, the soul gives form and movement to the body. A fighter's heart echoes through his soul. And he had heart to fight with heart. To fight with your soul, to fight with virtue. Through wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice.
There's a hole in my soul that'll never be replaced. Never give up, but it's been hard. It still is hard. But you've got to just put one foot in front of the other. Keep moving forward. I ended up boxing in memory of my son who passed away, because I wanted to do something different to try to raise money for a couple of different charities. And boxing something that I've been around but not actually been involved with. And then I decided to step in the ring and fight in memory of my son and raise some money for a couple of charities that are close to my heart.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
I stepped in the ring for the first time 5 weeks before my first fight, and I got the lips punched off us of a very experienced boxer, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed getting punched in the face. I didn't want to get punched in the face, but I enjoyed the whole experience of being in the ring. And you know, I realised then it was an art, and it was it's a game of chess, and I was blown away by how much actually goes into it.
Boxing is conversation with yourself. It is the ultimate thinking man's sport. Knowing how and when to deploy your weapons and your armour is largely a function of the mind. But through training, that wisdom gets ingrained within the body. And that space between the thought and the action becomes smaller and smaller and smaller until finally it's fluid, it's flow, it's beautiful. The relationship between the mind and the body works both ways. Intentionally slow and relaxed breathing can change your brain activity, and in doing so, everything about the experience of that moment. The most important part of wisdom is simply remembering to breathe. When a strike comes towards you, you learn to regulate your fear response, and you learn that the strike is not the problem, it's your response, reaction to it. Through self-control, we make sure that fear doesn't turn into anger, as anger is totally devoid of self-control. To do what is necessary versus what is favored emotionally, boxing training amounts to getting punched in the face and spending hours in communication with yourself so that you can react in wisdom, not fury. It becomes a way of meditation where you're present and focused on the moment.
It's like an escape that I used to have for football. Just an escape for 90 minutes, where this I get an escape for 2-minute rounds, 2 minutes, but for that 2 minutes I'm just in a place that no one else can touch us. It was just something that I wanted to feel a physical pain as opposed to an emotional pain. I wanted to feel pain, and I didn't want to have road rage or take it out on somebody. I wanted to sort of have that controlled aggression and let out my anger and frustration and bitterness towards obviously losing Ellis. So I found that in the boxing ring, and even getting punched in the face just made us feel alive, and physical pain is a lot different than emotional pain.
Boxers often fight one another because the legitimate objects of their anger are inaccessible to them. And anger in the face of injustice generates violence.
Getting punched in the face made us feel alive, and made us want to get better and get out of the way of them. But I don't mind getting punched in the face. Strange, weird.
Without courage, it's simply not possible to do what is correct, what is right. Every sporting competition includes the possibility of defeat. To give it everything you have and to be prepared to go to the absolute end. For courage, it is more important to endure than it is to attack. The principal act of courage is endurance. To stand immovable in the midst of danger, and to endure is the secret of any victory in life and in boxing.
I'm training for a heavyweight veterans title. I've had 2 fights, 2 unlicensed fights, and I've won both, and that's made us sort of in line for a veterans heavyweight title. So sounds a bit mad, a veterans heavyweight title. I don't feel old enough for a veterans title, but I'm looking forward to it. Aye, be good. My walkout song is Stir It Up by Patti LaBelle. It's a bit of a strange one because it's actually Ellis's one of Ellis's funeral songs. But it doesn't remind us of the bad times, it reminds us of the good times. And I know he's there on my shoulder. I've got his handprint tattooed on my shoulder. And he was a left-hander and he liked the scrap. And I know he's in the ring with us. And when I hear that song, I think of him, and I think of him that he's on my shoulder and he's on my back, and all of a sudden we had each other's backs. He was 21 when he passed away, and when I'm walking out there and I hear that song, I know I'm going to be alright, because I know he's got me back.
Slip it, slip it. Yeah. Slip it, slip it. Keep your paw out. Tracking, 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 tracking. Tracking, tracking, tracking. Cover up, cover up, cover up. Cover up. Relax, 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 relax. Relax. Relax, relax. Tracking, 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 tracking. There you go.
Kneel down, please. Thank you. Kneel down.
Tracking.
Kneel
Track,
down,
track.
white shirt. Kneel down. You gotta kneel down, guys. Thank you.
And again. Find it. And again. Wait, wait, wait. Slip it, slip it, slip it. Slip, 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 slip.
Take your flash off, madam. Take your flash off.
Slip it.
Thank you.
Cover up. Cover up, cover up, cover up, cover up. Feints, feints, feints. Give me a feint, 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 feint. Feint, Neil, feint. Cover up, cover up. Down. How you feeling? When he comes in like that, cover up. Put your hands up. You're throwing no feints, and you're not using your fucking tracking. Yeah. He's keeping that pile in front of you. I want you slipping, banging into the body. When he comes in with that barrage, just cover up. He's not doing anything to you. Wait for him to blow a little bit and then go, but don't be matching him. Let him go. Yeah. Cover up. He's not doing anything to you. Try and drink. All right, cover up on the way in, striking more feints. More feints. Feints, 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 feints. Head up, cover up, feints.
Red card, can you kneel down, please? Thank you.
More feints, more feints.
Can you hear these guys? Come on! Can everyone kneel? Great fight!
Feints. Set it up, set it up, set it up. He's not listening when he's doing it. Come on, get some feints in. Get some feints, 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 feints. Yeah. Okay. And again. Head up, cover up. Come on, Sean. Feints, 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 feints. Give me a feint. Big overhand, come on. Cover up, cover up, cover up. That's in there. It's a shield, what? It is. Don't worry about it. It's completely closed. Completely closed.
Well done to Bill Ellis, the medic, stopping the contest. Don't get brave on this guy.
Hold it, hold it.
Of his son, Ellis Wilson, near 47 years old. He's had 2
Head up.
replacements.
Head up.
Well done, David.
Get your head up, son. Get your head up. Get your head up. Get your head up. Get your head up.
8 is just a number.
Get your head up.
Bill Ellis safety the boxes at all times. Well done.
Get your head up.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay away from anybody. A winner! David Cole!
Listen, what are you sorry for? What are you sorry for? We got in there. Listen, look at me. We got in there, gave it a shot. Got caught with something that you can't do anything about. That's life. There's lots of shit you can't do anything about. But you fucking got in there, you did the work. You see now you're disappointed because everyone showed up you wanted to win. But this is better. This is why the fucking struggle is. There's no golden comfort. You go in here with the first shot, you feel great for a minute. But what the fuck are you going to get out of that? Yeah. Keep your head up. You didn't get knocked out, you didn't get stopped, you didn't get beat. You got caught with a fucking dodgy punch. Simple as. That's the fight game. It happens. Yeah. That's the risk. But you know what we do? Brush off and go again. Yeah. And correct it. That's all. Yeah. Everything else is good. So it's not a fucking. You didn't get beat. So don't feel like you're beat. And don't feel like you're disappointed, mate. All right? In sickness and in health. All right?
You know, in a mad sort of way, I'm not pleased I lost because I don't want to lose. But it's good for us because no, definitely not, because it's made us realise that fighting with emotion and fighting with anger and with a wrong mindset, doesn't matter what you said was in that corner beforehand or what said. Once that red mist descends, everything's gone. Watching the fight back was frustrating because I'm looking and I'm putting my hands in my head thinking, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm at one point I run after him. Yeah. I fucking run after him and start just launching at him. You know, there's no composure, there's no setting back and letting him come at us. It was just full throttle, heads gone, trying to, but I was throwing against a guy with a reach, obviously about 5 or 6 inches longer than me. And I'm thinking my arms are like go gadget arms. And they're miraculously going to grow by 2 foot. Do you know what I mean? And I was throwing from that far away. It was just fucking stupid. But again, you know, like I say, I'm not pleased I lost, but I'm pleased I learned. I think the emotion on the lead up to going in the ring, what got us. So I went into the ring not in the right frame of mind. So when I wasn't in the right frame of mind, that showed in the way that I boxed or not boxed. You know, it was more like a street pro, like a street fight that I brought to the table, and I didn't box. I didn't throw anything that I was supposed to throw, or everything just went out the window because my frame of mind was not about. I wasn't necessarily thinking about Ellis. I'd already been thinking about him a lot and get myself a little bit upset, and then walking out to me walkout song, which is his funeral song. But his funeral song doesn't remind us of his funeral, it reminds us of the good times, because Beverly Hills Cop and that Patti LaBelle song was one of his favourite songs, and that reminds us of the good times, so it's good memories. It's not bad memories because it was part of his funeral song. But I just think the emotion of going into the ring and looking at me kids and seeing Ellis's face on, you know, the t-shirts of everybody of Rest in Peace Ellis, and it just plays on your mind. And then when I got into that ring, it was just, I'm gonna knock your head clean off your shoulders, and obviously that didn't happen. But yeah, so it's a difficult one to explain. Yes, it was on my mind leading up to getting in the ring, but when I was in the ring, I was just focused on knocking the guy out. You know, the fighting is only one small part of it. The lead up, the build up, and the cause that I'm doing it for is more important than the result. It's hard, the result, because I'm a winner, you know, and I wanted to win, and I wanted to bring that title back, and disappointed that I didn't perform like I know I could have. But again, it's all part of the learning curve. I'm still very, very new to the sport, and emotion just got too much, and you know, got in my head, and a bit of upset, a bit of anger, and that went into the ring, and I think it showed in the ring because I was angry, you know. And that anger came out, and it wasn't controlled aggression. You know, it was very much I want to knock your head clean up your shoulders with every shot, and I walked into a few which I felt angry, and I still feel angry now that I'm doing stuff in Ellis's memory. I shouldn't have to fight in my son's memory. You know, I'm 21. That makes us angry and bitter that I'm fighting in his memory. But you know, boxing's been a saviour for us this year. Working with Colin's been amazing, and it's got us out of my own head, you know, because being in my own head's a lonely place. And if you've got no focus, and you've got no drive, and you've got nothing to get out of bed for in the morning, you haven't got all the training that I've been doing, you know, with Stephen and the lads at the boxing. It was never the boxing side, it was the fitness side. We're getting involved with Colin and obviously fighting, and we're Mark at first, and having a goal and having something to achieve in a cause for like a goal at the end of that training has made a huge difference, you know, because it's an escape. Because for that hour that I'm training, or that, you know, 2-minute rounds, or whether it's sparring or whether it's fighting, it's horrible to say, but Ellis is not on my mind. It's all about trying to knock somebody's head off, or trying to knock my head off, and that's all I'm focused on. So it's good to get that escape, and it's been good to have that escape for this last almost a year next year, but you know, for the last 8-9 months, it's been a massive escape for us, and I thoroughly enjoy it, you know.
Is this a healthy way to deal with this? Like, I think that's an interesting question to ask. And I actually think that, again, it really depends on which side of the emotional spectrum that you're on, because, and trauma aside, again, just emotions, Because a lot of people fall into two categories: indulgers and avoiders. So if you're trying to avoid feeling that pain, you're going to do things that help you avoid feeling that pain. And in a lot of cases with trauma, you're probably going to do things that actually cause you pain, because it's easier to feel physical assault than it is to actually go to that emotion that needs to be felt so that it can be healed. And that's a fucking scary place to go. Like, we can clearly deduct that this is something that would be supportive in so many ways, right? Like just having just even on the fundamental of having community. Like, that's one of the most important things in terms of healing any sort of emotional pain, is having support, however that support shows itself up, right? And so going along with this, like this peak experience that's happening in the body and triggering that stress response and overriding it with your training, like, yes. However, what I will say, going back to emotions and this potential dichotomy of avoiding versus indulging, of an avoidance pattern might still be present there if all of that is happening to avoid taking a moment and sitting in the grief and the sadness and the pain that is undoubtedly present because your 21-year-old son died, right? So, like, yes, keeping your body healthy and staying sober and being courageous and facing the fear, yes, all of this is incredible, but at least based on my training and my lived experience, there still needs to be a moment where we're actually sitting in the thing that we are trying to not sit in, right? Because avoidant types will do things like this. They will hit the gym and put all of their focus on training. They will, become incredibly successful at work because all of their focus is on work, right? It plays itself out differently. But ultimately, we're still avoiding the thing that we actually need to feel to heal. If we're talking about healing, if we're talking about avoiding, there's a resistance to the feeling. So what we're actually talking about isn't necessarily anger or sadness or fear. There's an underlying resistance to go there, right? And through the breath, you're fighting that resistance, which I imagine, again, you're fighting that resistance in your system when you're in the ring, right? Like, the same mechanisms are being triggered. One of the methods I work with is reset breath work. That's not a calming experience, is it? We're not doing shanti shanti, are we? No, we're putting a body into a peak state using our breath. But there's more that's happening, right? And again, in relation to stress and trauma, we're activating the diaphragm. The diaphragm has more nerves connected to the vagus nerve than the brain does. So there's way more input happening here of information that's going from here up here, way more. So we're activating the diaphragm, then we're activating the heart, right? Again, and as we know, the heart is the first brain. If you can meet the defense mechanisms of your trauma, if you can meet the resistance that can take over your body when you're just doing these 2 breaths in and 1 breath out, and everything in your system is like, fuck this, stop, this is hard, why are we doing this? Like, those same thoughts go through. I imagine that might go through when you're training. You're chiseling into your brain a new way of feeling alive that doesn't involve punishment and pain.
Boxing builds character, forged by making fighters face their fears, emotions, themselves. They're pushed against limits to define themselves constantly. And if they're made to do this again and again and again, firm habits become virtues. The task in this life is not to become perfect, but to become whole. And wholeness entails good and evil, light and dark. Free yourself from mental slavery. We live in the stories we are told and the stories we tell ourselves.
minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption song, redemption song. From mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets? Well, we stand aside and look. Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to